All athletes in bodybuilding, Terrick Guindy with the Mr. Olympia. Today, we have three of the greatest current competitors and two of the biggest legends in sport. I'm going to start with, let me just mute Shawn Ray. He's on a forum in Hawaii or something. I'm going to start with one of the guys who has tremendous hype. He won the show in Europe, qualified for the Mr. Olympia. He's now training with Milos, and he looks incredibly large. His name is Samson the Machine Dauda. How are you, Samson?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Thanks, man. Thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it, man. How you guys all doing?
Oh, good, Samson. It's nice to see you anyway. We've seen your progress. You're looking great.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
All right. And also with us, the Brazilian Hope. He won the show in Romania. He is the best bodybuilder in the history of Brazil. He's got one of the most beautiful lines, Rafael Brandão. How are you, Rafael?
Fine, Terrick, and you guys. Thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure to me to be here and talk to you guys.
Thank you. Rafael that just signed a new contract with a new sponsorship in Brazil called Probiotica. Bob, you remember the old Probiotica, right?
Oh yeah, I was actually out there with Marcelo and Roberto and the crew way back in the day before Black Skull was even formed. Yeah.
So now
was with them, right?
They have a new administration. Mariani is the owner. They're bringing back the brand Probiotica. Rafael is making millions and millions of dollars, and he should be buying dinner to all of us in Las Vegas.
Yeah. See you in Vegas.
Also with us, he is one of the legends in our bodybuilding, one of the most respected bodybuilders. Every time we do a live here, every bodybuilder that has ever done a live here with us has talked about Kamal as being one of the most respected bodybuilders in the world. It doesn't matter if it's 212, classic, or open bodybuilding. When people talk about Kamal, Elgargni is the utmost respect. Kamal, welcome to Olympia TV.
Thanks, Tarek. Thanks for having me. It was nice to see you all, guys. I mean, yes, I do follow your broadcast all the time. That I see a lot of people they're talking about it. It's the thing is that I really loved, and what else do I need? Everybody's talking to you in good things, so this is a blessing for me. This is a blessing.
Thank you, Bob. If you had to put money on somebody to be conditioned at this Mr. Olympia, Kamal Elgargni might just be the guy.
Oh, listen, that's the easiest bet we got. I mean, this guy's been showing up in shape for 25 years now. It's he's never shown up not in shape. So if anybody's got a clear run for the title, it's going to be Kamal. And as the 212 goes, that title's up for grabs this year. Don't be surprised if Kamal comes out on top. Talking to you, giant killer.
I've done what I have to do, man. I'm getting it back. I don't care what's gonna happen. I'm gonna bring something. It's new, but I'm taking it back.
Thank you. And Bob, who's the voice of bodybuilding, who's going to be the master of ceremony. He's also the athlete's representative, and it's going to be his birthday tomorrow. He's celebrating 42 years old. Congratulations, Robert.
Happy birthday, Bob.
Happy birthday, Bob.
Hey, thanks, guys.
42 years.
Yeah, I was going to say, unfortunately, Sugar Shawn is slightly older than me, so he knows better.
But Shawn, you look like you're 37 years old. You're looking great.
I'm fresh off of Hawaii, bro. I mean, you go there for the Fountain of Youth. You got to come next year.
Great. Shawn Ray, who is considered, along with Lee Haney, the greatest national champion. He is an Ironman champion, Arnold Classic champion, 1994, very arguably Mr. Olympia or not. We need to argue that once we do a live. And Shawn Ray is with us. Shawn, is this guy Kamal Elgargni the most respected bodybuilder in today's game?
Yeah, I mean, Kamal knows how I feel. I mean, this guy's the new Dexter Jackson. I thought he was going to retire like 3 years ago, but every year he keeps coming back and wrecking havoc on these guys and ruining their dreams. I guess if it ain't broke, don't try to fix it. I don't really have any advice for Kamal. I saw him coming up the ranks when he was struggling to get into IFBB Pro League. And once he got here, he just wreaked havoc on the division. and hasn't taken his foot off the gas, man. Kudos. For guys that do it past the age of 50 plus, you're in a very elite group, which would include Vince Taylor, Robbie Robinson, Dexter Jackson. I mean, very few guys that can do it beyond that half-century mark, and you're kicking some ass. Congrats.
Oh, thanks, man. I mean, you just put me with these names. To be honest, guys, what else do I need? This is for me. Thank God, man. I mean, I'm really, thank you so much. It is, I've got nothing to say.
Hey, just it's not going unnoticed on the guys that, know a little bit about the history of the sport, what you're doing at this age and at the level you're doing it. So, I mean, look, at this age, it's not even about winning. It's about surviving. And right now you're still in the driver's seat with opportunities to win. So people respect that, and we're watching it, and keep doing it.
So with that, I want to make a question to all of you guys. A lot of people might say, well, Samson Dauda is one of the best bodybuilders we have. Rafael Brandão is one of the best bodybuilders we have. Even the current Mr. Olympia, Big Ramy. But when it comes down to conditioning, there's always that question. Are they going to come in condition? And some of them, most of them have not. Kamal, what have you done in your preparation that you are able to nail your conditioning every single time?
Terrick, this is a good question. I think for me, it's I do my diet, and I give my diet 110%, maybe 200%. So there's no cheat. When I say there's no cheat in my diet, 100% there's no cheat. I think if you could control your diet and you follow the diet plan, I think you can bring condition. I think you can bring condition, because some of the days, like, you think, I'm not really competing, I'm not really this. You have time in front of you, so you could say, oh, okay, I'm not in condition. But if you be in point with your diet, I think you could make it. You have to suffer. I've been suffering, man. I mean, especially I was talking about it earlier at the gym. I just finished my training. Man, I'm just having only 60 grams of carbs a day at the moment, the last 3 weeks. So it is suffering, man. It's a lot of people. That's the problem. There's a lot of good physiques in this our field, but the problem, will they take that suffering? I don't think everybody can take it. So that's why you don't see many people, they bring that condition. So I'm really tough with my diet, even with my family. My wife says, Kamal, you're looking good. You should have, like, I said, no, I'm not. So I'm a bit too much into my diet.
So I want to get down to the specifics here. 60 grams of carbs in the last 3 weeks. How many cardio sessions are you doing? And have you been dieting for 12 weeks, 16 weeks? Give me a little bit of the specifics.
To be honest, I've been dieting the whole year round, because, I've just done 2 shows like 2 months ago. I did the Tampa Pro and the Texas, Dallas. And I've been dieting all year round. For me, there is no off season. For me, I mean, talking about the food wise, all year round, I'm eating healthy. I've got 1 day a week, which is I eat with the family, which is like maybe Friday. I'll have that. That's all day. That's if I'm prepping or not, all year round. So all year round, I am actually on a good, healthy diet, good food. So I'll maybe higher a little bit calories, but from clean food. It's not like I'm not eating junk. I don't eat junk at all. So maybe that's why I am actually that kind of condition all year round, and I'm in good shape. With my cardio, to be honest, I wasn't the last week. Last week we haven't done any cardio, zero cardio. But this week we are actually doing 1 session of 45 minutes at the moment, empty stomach, first thing in the morning.
Well, I want to talk to you, Rafael, because you are not going to be one of the biggest bodybuilders there. Big Ramy is going to be bigger than you. Nick Walker is going to be bigger than you. But most of these guys don't have your lines. In terms of lines, you have possibly the best line on the lineup. It comes down to really if you are conditioned or not. Now, you won the Arnold Classic Brazil, and you are not 100%, which is a testament to how good you can be. But talk to us. Are we going to see the best version of Rafael Brandão?
Yes, of course. I will not be the biggest guy on stage, but I don't want to be the biggest guy on stage. I want to be the best guy on stage, you know. So, and I put everything on prep. I put everything on my diet. Chris is pushing hard. You know, we've been diet for 20 weeks. And I know I show to the world like a new version of Rafael Brandão. And it's going to surprise a lot of guys.
So, Bob, this is interesting. In the podcast with Bob's best friend, Fuad Abiad, Brendan Curry said that Rafael Brandão was going to be in the top 5. Now, Fuad, who went to school with Bob Chick, he looked surprised. He looked like he didn't believe Rafael Brandão was going to be on the top 5. What do you think about Brendan Curry putting you on the top 5 and some people discrediting you, thinking, well, I think that's a stretch?
Well, the biggest mistake anybody can make is counting people out that have, legitimately world-class physiques. Oddly enough, we got 2 guys on here today, and Rafael and Samson, who are very under the radar. Okay, they're not 2 names that immediately step out at you because there's a lot of big names in the show. Let's face it, it's the Olympia, and you've got guys who are established, and they've been there like the Brandon Currys and the William the Conquerors and Big Ramy and these guys. But just like you saw 2 new guys last year into the top 5, and Nick Walker and Hunter Labrada, these 2 guys absolutely have the tools. And I've been singing Samson's praises. He knows I'm a big fan of his physique, and I've known Samson for some years now before he kind of found the physique he's got now. And you could see this guy coming a mile away. Both these guys have beautiful physiques, great lines, plenty of muscle. Okay, they're not small guys. Okay, they're not going to be the biggest guys, but like Rafael says, you just have to be the best out there. You've got the best example sitting right in front of you in Sugar Shawn Ray, who was second place in the Olympia and arguably should have won 1 or 2 himself. So Shawn was never the biggest guy, never tried to be the biggest guy. And at just over, between 200 and 205 pounds, he was able to take out a whole bunch of people at the Olympia level. So if anybody's sleeping on these 2 guys, that's going to be their biggest mistake.
So, Shawn, what do you think about Brendan Curry saying Rafael Brandão is going to be on the top 5?
I mean, it's nice to get compliments from your peers, more importantly, from a former Mr. Olympia. That's huge. I was there when I saw Gunther Schlierkamp join his first Olympia. I think he was somewhere around 15. And the next thing you know, he's standing there in the top 5, and then he's upsetting Ronnie Coleman back in the day. This is before you guys' time, but I was also there when a young national champion who didn't even win the overall nationals in the form of Jay Cutler came up, won the New York Pro. We saw him coming, jumps in his first Olympia. He's not even in the top 10. And I blinked, and he was second place. A guy by the name of Ronnie Coleman schlepped along in 1992, comes into Mr. Olympia, dead last. And then he slowly inched his way up. And in 1996, there me and Dorian were getting call-outs with Ronnie Coleman in 96. And then a couple of years later, he's Mr. Olympia. So anything is possible. Listening to other people, that wasn't something I was good at doing. I paid attention to what I was best at, and that was my physique. I was more in tune with what I needed to do physically than all the encouragement and the outside noise. And if I just did what got me to where I was at, eventually the body catches up with the belief. And if you believe it, you can achieve it. And look, these guys are in the Olympia because they qualified. They didn't get there because they got enough points.
Now, Shawn, do you think that Big Ronnie is the Mr. Olympia? There's a lot of people chasing the size game, just like people chased the size game when Ronnie Coleman was the Mr. Olympia. Do you think that's a mistake that a lot of people are going to make? And guys that are aesthetically pleasing, like Samson Dauda and Brandão, can make a move?
Yeah, no, these guys got to play to their strength. Looking at Ramy as a challenger, you don't even need to think about Ramy. I couldn't look at Dorian. I couldn't look at Ronnie. I couldn't look at Flex and Kevin, for that matter, and think that I'm going to match them in some area. I had to focus on what I was doing. And they both got the package that are giving them an opportunity. And now they just have to be the best prepared. Listen, on any given day, these guys can slip on a banana peel, right? I mean, you don't know. If you focus on Big Ramy and then some other guy comes up behind it and takes you out that should never beat you. Focus on yourself. Bring the best package that you're comfortable with. If you do the best you can do without thinking about the other guys, there's no way you can lose, regardless of whether you win the competition or not.
Samson, in Primetime Muscle, the best show in television, even though Bob and Shawn Ray disagree. Tyler Mannion said, watch out for Samson Dauda. If he was conditioned at the Arnold, he could have shocked the world. You got a really good placing at the Arnold. Talk to me about that show and what happened.
I think at the Arnold, it was a chance for me to basically see what I looked like standing next to a Mr. Olympian and standing next to the other guys that are at the top of the game. You know, it's all good, you know, competing in Europe and qualifying for the Olympia. But until you stand next to these guys, you don't really know where you really, where your merit is. And I think for the Arnold, it was basically that. I got to just stand next to them. And we learned a lot, man. We learned a lot. We learned that, you know what, a God can bleed. And once you see that blood, you know exactly what that next thing is. You come for the kill. And I think that's what you're going to see at this Olympia is that, you know, guys that are aesthetic, that are complete. Me and Brandão, that's what we stand for. You know, not just having freaky body parts, but being complete everywhere. You know, bringing that with the conditioning and everything else to the Olympia. And I think you're going to see some crazy things happen this year.
Rafael, so going back to you, Brendan Curry said, I believe Rafael is going to be in the top 5. And then Fuad said, well, that's surprising. I can't believe you said that. And a lot of people were surprised that Brendan Curry picked you to be top 5. What is your message to these people that don't believe you're going to be in the top 5?
To be honest, I don't give a fuck, you know, because, it's really because I don't need people talk about me before the show and say, oh, I believe that, I don't believe that, because I'm sure they will talk about Rafael Brandão after the show. So whatever they think, whatever they say, don't change my mind, you know. I'm doing everything that I can do, and I will show the best version of Rafael Brandão. And I know when I put the shape on stage on the Mr. Olympia, we're going to shock the world.
Hey, Bob, I've been cursing my whole life with my Brazilian accent. It never sounded so good as he did right now.
It was very good, yes.
Oh, man. Hey, Kamal, what is your advice to some of these guys? They're the new guys coming to the Mr. Olympia, and they're going to be backstage with the guys that have been in the Mr. Olympia for 10 years, guys that have been there. And a lot of times there's intimidation in the backstage. What do you think? What is your advice for these guys, Samson Dauda, Rafael Brandão, of how they should act in that backstage? And then I'll follow up with you, Shawn and Bob.
Well, really, they backstage, they don't care. They don't need to look to anyone. They just act. They are the champions. They've done their work, because wherever it's going to happen, nothing is going to change, because the job is done. You've done what you have to do. You're ready on backstage. So when you are backstage, you just thinking how to get your warmed up properly, and just thinking on to get into the stage and present your best, present that hard work that you've been doing, and forget any other, because we do, like we say, oh, he's bigger than me, oh, he's this. So forget about that. Just look at yourself. Don't look at anyone. Focus on your whatever you've done. You need to present it, and I'm sure you guys, you've got the great physique, like what everybody says. You got the great physiques. I'm fan of these kind of physiques. I'm not kind of that guy with the big, you know, the mass monsters or whatever. So I think you will do very well, and I've seen your progress as well. It is just thinking about what you've done, the whole work that you've done, present it and act like a champion from the moment you walk in backstage until you be finished. Just act like you are the champion.
Shawn, in your time, when you guys were very competitive, you, Flex, Florian, Kevin, Chris, was there tension backstage? I mean, was there staring? Was it casual talking?
No, we knew we were going to war, but it like Kamal said, we all focus on ourselves. It's pretty anticlimactic. It's almost like you can do Bible study backstage. It's so quiet. It's not it's not a fun time. There's a lot at stake. There's a lot of anxiety, a lot of nervousness, a lot of self-doubt. Some guys are very confident. And at the end of the day, we're just trying to be the best prepared you can be. And if you can try to find a way to communicate with each other, because you never know if you're going to make it back. It's like the football. When there's only 2 football teams that make it in the Super Bowl. And some players play their entire career. They never make it to the Super Bowl. You made it to the Olympia. There's no guarantee you're coming back. So try to suck it all in. I think sometimes when I was there, I distanced myself from a lot of people. I wasn't able to actually enjoy the brotherhood of what was actually about to take place because I got myself into my own little world and I tuned everything out. And now we have the cell phone, we have our headphones, we have our coach, we have our trainer. It's easy to block out lifelong friendships that you can establish because you have this one thing in common. And one day you're going to wake up, you're going to be 57 like me and Bob, and you're going to go, remember that time backstage when, share a laugh, share a moment, help somebody out. I think for me back in my time, we were all a little bit more standoffish. We weren't as accommodating towards each other because we were coming there for the fight, for the kill. And I think whatever wisdom I can give you guys is you're there. The work is done. Try to relax and exhale. There's no more pressure on you when you're backstage getting ready to walk on the stage as there is right now. It's not going to intensify. You're actually going to be more prepared. So try to absorb the moment. Try to pay attention to look at the fans. Try to help out one of the guys that looks like he might need some help. And don't tune yourself out. Don't go into your own little world. Like smell it, feel it. And you'll be thankful when it's all said and done to remember those experiences. I think back often about what was going on backstage, and it gets a little bit blurry the older you get. So try to be in the moment and be helpful to each other. Because again, Bob's going to be 57 tomorrow. I met Bob 40 freaking years ago.
Yeah.
Where were you guys 40 years ago? Playing in the sandbox? I mean, so these relationships that you're bonding over, going for this championship and this title, is also friendships that you can establish for a very long time after bodybuilding.
Bob, in the 2018 or 19 Mr. Olympia, there was a quick break after prejudging, and I went to the restroom, and I had to separate a fight between the coach from Kuwait and the camp of Hadi Chupin.
Right.
And I was just trying to pee, And when I got there, I heard some yelling and screaming, and I'm in the middle of a Middle Eastern conflict. And nobody was there to help me out. They caught it on iPhone, and people even thought that I was fighting them when I was actually trying to separate them. But anyways, Bob, you've seen a lot of stuff backstage. What do you tell these guys, the young guys coming up? Is there something that they should be ready? Are some of the old guys going to play tricks on them?
Well, clearly there's no peace in the Middle East. That's for sure, Terrick, especially in the restroom, right? But here's the bottom line, guys. And it's not for these guys, the president. These guys are all gentlemen. They're all champions, and they conduct themselves as such. There is no defense in bodybuilding. All those old stories, backstage, psyching each other out. Listen, those are great old days, okay? Those days were 40 and 50 years ago. As Shawn just appropriately mentioned, you go back, and these days fly, man. Like, blink of an eye, like you said, me and Shawn go back 40-something years. That's how far we go back competing against each other in the teenage nationals. Now we're old guys. We're the elder statesmen. You got to enjoy the time that you're there. By the time you get backstage at the Olympia, there's nothing you can do about the other guy. Like Kamal said, listen, the work is over. It's done. It's time to go out there now and show what you've done, show what you've put together, right? And the judges are going to put you where they want to put you. There's nothing Samson can do about Rafael. There's nothing Rafael can do about Nick Walker. There's nothing Andrew Jack can do about Big Ramy, okay? You're going to go out there. You should have fun. You should enjoy the experience, and you're going to do the best that you can do. But there is no defense in bodybuilding. There's nothing putting the scowl on your face or mean mugging somebody doesn't do anything for your physique backstage. And if anything, it just it makes you unprepared. Focus on what you're going to do. And like Shawn says, enjoy the moment, because really, listen, the show is the show. Everybody's trying to win. We all know that. Everybody's trying to get a big paycheck, further their career and all that stuff. And, you can tell by Kamal's attitude, he's been around the block for a few years. At 50 years old, this guy's still bringing a world-class physique, and he's going to contend for that title. And nobody would be surprised if he gets it back. But you can tell by his demeanor. He's been there. He's done that. When he's backstage, and I've seen Kamal backstage many times, he's relaxed. He's having fun. He's got a smile on his face. He's chatting it up with the guys and whatever. That's what everybody should be doing backstage at the Olympia. It's the greatest muscle show on earth. We'll all be there.
It's sorry, I don't want to jump in. That's one of the things, because if you've done your job, you're ready, you've done what you have to do, you're going to feel relaxed because you've done what you have to do. There is nothing like you late on, I could have done better, I could have this. You wasn't 100%, then you're going to think, stress, blah, 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 and all these kind of things. If you've done your job, you're going to be 100% relaxed.
Well, it's exciting, but I'm excited because I believe, and I could be wrong here, in a playing field here, that we're going to have some surprises at this Mr. Olympia. A lot of people are thinking that the same old guys are going to be there, but I think that when you have that much talent, some people they're going to nail, and some people are not going to nail the conditioning. Samson, you're working with Milos Sarcev, right?
Yes, I am.
How long have you been working with him, and do you attribute your gain of muscle mass, incredible gain, to working with Milos Sarcev?
Yeah, I started working with Milos last summer, and yeah, man, he's taught me a lot. Milos has been around for you guys. He's been around for generations. He's just been around for a long time. So when he saw my physique, he just said, reminiscent to the guys from the 90s, and he knew exactly how to just make it work. So as soon as we were working together, he knew exactly what to do with me, and that just, everything just started exploding.
Now, what has changed? I know he likes to do a lot of the intensive training. Did he change your diet? Can you give us a little bit more specifics of the influence of Milos Sarcev on you?
I mean, he changed my diet, man, and he showed me how to really suffer when you say diet, how to really pull things down. I mean, right now, I'm having just 3 eggs for breakfast. While before, you think a big guy having just 3 eggs for breakfast in bodybuilding doesn't make any sense. But that's what he's got me doing. And he made me believe that, muscle doesn't just fall off you just because you cut your food down so low. So, those little things like that is something he's taught me, how to really, dig down and suffer in a diet to get in shape. And that's something that I got to be grateful to him for.
Now, Samson, I want to add something. You have a guy that's also from the UK. He's a big trash talker, Nathan Diasha. And, you don't like him. He doesn't like you.
I like Nathan. Of course I like Nathan. We're best friends.
No, hold on. The last time Bob and I were there, remember, Bob, we did that press conference at the pro show in UK. And he said, I quote, Samson is going to beat me with his posing because he does all that crazy shit. And I don't do that. I can't do that. But I'm going to beat him on stage. And he placed ahead of you in first, and you placed second. But that was the moment. That was the moment that people started paying attention to Samson Dauda.
Yeah.
Do you have any message to Nathan since he's going to be at home watching you?
Yeah, I believe it was 2019 when we were having that conversation, and I said, I'll keep coming back until I beat you. And he said, never going to happen. Well, hello. The same thing I always say with everybody, it's like, I don't have to say anything. I just keep coming back until I pass you. And you can say never going to happen. You can say all that, but we'll see. I'm here now,
Well, Samson, you did beat him. And my question to you is, are you the best bodybuilder in the UK?
I'll let the UK fans answer that. At the end of the day, Nathan Diasha was the UK undefeated for the last 7 years. No other bodybuilder from the UK ever beat him until last year. And that was his last show. we're here now.
So let me have Shawn Ray lose some followers. Shawn, is Samson Dauda the best bodybuilder in the UK? Is he better than Nathan Diasha and James Hollinshead?
Yeah, at the moment, Samson's the man. I think I saw a picture. Was that you, Samson, that had a picture next to Flex Wheeler, like joined together?
Yeah.
I mean, hey, when you talk about Flex Wheeler and you can stand next to that, yeah, I don't think Nathan has a photo that can do that. You're 3D. The muscles are just big, round. I mean, again, with somebody like you, just tweaking the condition a little bit, it can launch you the way it launched Ronnie Coleman. Ronnie Coleman didn't get bigger when he won the 98 Olympia. He got in condition.
Yeah.
And he found out how to master that condition a couple of times, because most of the time he's a little bit over. But you nail it one time, man, and you can make a career out of that. So you're on the cusp. I don't know that we say the same thing about Nathan. I like Nathan's look, but you're on another level right now. That's why you beat him.
Very much. Thank you so much.
Hey, Bob, Samson Dauda and James Hollinshead on stage representing the UK. Who do you like better?
Well, first, I got to correct you real quickly, my brother. Shawn does not need your help in losing followers, okay? Listen, he's mastered this for years, okay? Trust me. All right, listen. Right now, Samson, I agree, is on a different level, okay? I love Nathan. Like I said, I love his bravado. I like what he brings to the table. If we're just going pure physique, Samson has a superior physique, and all he had to do was catch up. And now he's not only caught up, but he's surpassed. And we'd love to get Nathan back on the stage, and hopefully that'll happen soon, because I still think he's got some gas in the tank. He's had some unfortunate, the physical stuff that's gone on the last couple of years that's kept him off the stage. But I'd love to see these guys duking it out. But listen, there's a whole list of guys here. Now, we talk about who's going to be in the top 5 and all that. Like I mentioned earlier, 2 guys in the top 5 weren't in the top 5 just 2 years ago, right? We still haven't even mentioned Akeem Williams, Ian Valliere, James Hollingshead, again, we're talking about now, Andrew Jack, Blessing. Listen, all these guys are all in the same bunch of people that have great physiques that can absolutely beat each other. And so, listen, we can't have 10 guys in the top 5, right? So somebody's going to get booted out of there. Now, is that going to be a perennial? Is that going to be a veteran? In form of somebody who's been there now for a few years? Is that a Brandon Curry? You got to give him his respect, but let's face it, conditioning is going to say a whole lot this Olympia. As I don't know who mentioned it earlier, Shawn or one of the guys, you can't get any bigger on the stage, okay? Nobody's going to be bigger than Rami. But the Olympia is not about who's the biggest. It's about who's got the best physique in the world, the best. Whether you're 220, 210, I don't care what you are, 280, you've got to have the best physique. You're not going to get any bigger, but you can get better. If Rafael brings that trademark conditioning in, he's a problem for somebody. Samson, I've already gone on record. He's probably got the best physique out of everybody, and I mean everybody. Just got to be dialed in. If he's too big, he's out of it's too close. He'll be fighting for 10th. It's going to be that close this time. Kamal, you're a whole different guy. Like I said, we can't even add you into this thing because you're so consistent. It's literally going to come down to Kamal and Shawn, and that's pretty much it for me. It's those 2 guys, the title's up for grabs.
I mean, just want to tell you, Bob, it's not me, because I've tried to do the open show, which is Tampa. So yep. The first for me, it's made me like, I mean, really close to Hakeem Williams, whatever. So I come second. Why I come second? Because I wasn't conditioned. I was in really good condition, better than the others. So yes, if you bring the condition at the Olympia, I've always say that at the Olympia, the judges, if you're not bringing the condition, it has to be completely different. I mean, if you don't have glutes, I'll tell you from now, you're not going to be top 5. As simple as that.
That's interesting. Shawn, going back to you, everybody talks about Ronnie Coleman 2003, and I never thought that was his best version. His best version was 1998, 1999. The waist was tiny. He was more conditioned, and I even thought he posed better. He was a little bit more flexible. So I agree with you.
Over the history as it relates to Olympia, there's only been one bodybuilder that ended his career better than he started it, and that was Lee Haney. Haney retired at 31 years old. He was arguably his all-time best in 1991 when Dorian Yates challenged him. But if you go down the list, Arnold came out of a 5-year retirement in 1980, and people are still talking it was a controversial victory, although I have him unanimously winning. He wasn't at his absolute best. Ronnie Coleman didn't finish his career at his best. Dorian Yates did not finish his career at his best. Phil Heath, the list is long, and there's a pattern there. The guys got bigger towards the end of their careers. They didn't get better. Lee Haney had time on his side at 31 years young. Most of those Olympians finished their career closer to 40 or even beyond. So it is a matter of trying to maintain that balance of conditioning. You got to reel it in. Nobody here has ever been accused of being too small. So if you're going to take out a big giant like that, I mean, you got to consider how some of these smaller guys were able to beat bigger guys like myself. It was always in condition, and that's sometimes harder to achieve than actually weighing a lot on a scale or being bigger than you've ever been.
I mean, you never lost to Marcos Rue, right?
I never did. No, he came at the end of my career.
You know, I mean, I don't remember Shawn losing to some of the biggest guys on the lineup. But I want to go back to you, Rafael. You said to me yesterday on a phone call, put me right next or between Hunter Labrada and Nick Walker, and I will look better than those guys. Do you stand by that statement?
Yes. Put me there. You're going to see. I bring to the stage, you know, they don't have what I have. You know, the lines, condition, striation, deep separation, you know. They have size, but okay, size is just one point of the bodybuilding, you know. Bodybuilding is about everything, you know, posing routine, how you show your body, you know. This is a professional show, you know. So put me there and you're going to see.
Well, Kamal, I know you're going to have a workout with Nick Walker today. You can go ahead and relate the message right now.
Well,
hey,
now
listen.
Nick, he just moved to Vegas. He's already gone. But
yeah.
I mean, but to be honest, okay, with Nick, I mean, he's a good guy. We train together. He's a very strong guy. He's very hungry for the title. He's doing his best. But like what I said, we're talking about bodybuilding here. I mean, if the judges they go for the for what's like the complete physique, whatever. So it doesn't mean like you lost because of like it's. I think here's bodybuilding is an art, and it's an art sport. It's when you have a complete physique, and then when you nail it with the condition. So I think that's what they're looking for.
All right.
And listen, Terrick, I respect all these guys, you know. I'm not disrespecting anyone, but I'm doing my job, you know. I'm living my dream. I already qualified to Mr. Olympia, so I believe I can be there on the top and put me, you know, between these guys, and I'm going to show something different.
Rafael, just want to ask you, how heavy you are at the moment?
I am in kilos, 117. It's like 260.
260.
That's huge, Bob. 260. How big are these guys getting? 260 was like what Ronnie Coleman weighed when he won the 1998 Olympia, right, Shawn?
When Ronnie won his first Olympia, he was actually his lightest. That was the lightest he ever was. I think it was like 248. He came off
248. Yeah.
Yeah. He came off the Arnold Classic in March, and he stayed on his diet. So he was the lightest he'd ever been when he first won it in 1998.
Yeah, but listen, I don't care about my weight, you know.
Yeah.
I care about my condition. So whatever, I just want to bring to the stage the best condition.
As the greatest philosopher in the history of bodybuilding once said, Robert Ciccirillo, as Sugar Shea would say is his name, nobody has defeated more bodybuilders than the scale, right, Bob?
That's one of my observations. Yes, very, very clever, Terrick. Like I said, Samson, I'll put the question to you. Would you rather be 270 on stage and in 10th or 252 in the winter?
Well, that's why we have no idea what I'm weighing at the moment. That's why we haven't checked kept up my weight at all this prep. So
you know, I don't know how many years I can tell people. There's no bench press around. No. There's no scale on stage, and there's no tape measure on stage. The only thing you got to use is a mirror and have somebody smart enough to look at you and go, you still got to bring it down. You're still not in condition. Just when you thought you were in shape. Let me tell you something. Samson and Rafael, neither one of these guys was on stage last year going up against Nick and Hunter Labrada. So for anybody to think, I mean, I didn't see the other podcast with, you know, Fuad and whoever. Hopefully they got a black curtain up there so Fuad can actually see the physiques. But listen, you don't have to be a genius to figure out that Rafael and Samson both could easily beat those guys. Either both of them, one of them collectively. It literally just comes down to game day and who shows up in condition and in shape. But they've all got great physiques. But these two guys that we're looking at right now have prettier physiques than the two guys we're talking about.
Yeah, and there's one guy you haven't mentioned, Derek Lansford.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say, you took the words right out of my mouth.
Because
we haven't even mentioned it. I was looking down my list.
I saw him yesterday at the gym. Man, believe me, he's dangerous.
And listen, he's another guy, right? So now we got 11 guys in the top 5.
It's going to be hard. It's going to be challenging because Shawn, is this, in your opinion, and I had a conversation. We actually asked the question when President Jim Mannion was there at Primetime Muscle, and we were comparing this with the 1999 Mr. Olympia. And I said to everybody, take into consideration that at that point, Ronnie had just won one Mr. Olympia. He wasn't the 8-time Mr. Olympia.
Right.
Do you see this as potentially the greatest open bodybuilding Mr. Olympia or not yet?
I see it as one of the most competitive because there's so many questions here that none of us have the answer to until game day. Again, we're talking to 2 rookies that have the potential to walk in and shake up the apple cart. We're also looking at potentially the changing of the guard. There's some guys in this year's Olympia on the upper echelon that may not be back next year. So I remember when I was going towards the end of my career, some of the guys that were slowly disappearing, and I blinked, and there was like 10 guys that were running bodybuilding that were just gone. They were just retired. I mean, Kevin was gone, Flex was gone, I was gone, Ronnie was gone. And it happens in a blink of an eye. We are looking at, I think, potentially not only a changing of the guard, because I don't know that Rami has that stronghold lock on it that Ronnie had for 8 consecutive years, but this is a year where the judges can say, look, we're going to go a whole different direction because we know the champion's a little bit flawed in certain areas. He's got strong points over his weak points. They can actually mark that down. It could be, hey, look, you know what? We're looking for the most complete, not the biggest. We're not looking for the freakiest. We're looking for the best. And if that's happening,
just lost Shawn for a second.
No, I'm here. That was Danny Hester trying to ruin my day. If that happens, you could have a whole different look, and you might have a standing ovation, or you could have a riot because they're used to what we've been presented with the last 3 years. So this is a big one. I'm not going to miss it. I'm excited for this one the way I was to participate in 1999.
Samson, we're going to finish this live, but before we finish this live, I want you to send a message to everybody in the UK whose hopes are in your arms.
We won't disappoint.
Rafael Brandão, I want you to send a message to all the Brazilians. And I know they're some of the craziest people in this planet. And when you enter that stage, half of them are going to have a heart attack and the other half is going to be jumping. What is your message to the Brazilians?
Hey, I just want to say thank you to all Brazilian fans, all Brazilian guys who support the sport, you know. Brazil, bodybuilding in Brazil has been growing a lot. And I know you're going to have a lot of guys making noise in there. And I love Brazil.
Kamal, you are the most respected bodybuilder nowadays. And you have a legion of people, not only in the Middle East, but in the entire world, that say, God damn it, if that guy can do it, I can do it too. What is your message to the millions and millions of fans you have around the world?
I'll say thank you so much for all that support. And I mean, I've seen all that messages, like all these people, like they getting that age, and like a lot of people, they come to the gym. He said, when we saw you, we came back. We said you could do it, that we can do it. So thank you so much. And I'm sure, inshallah, that's what we say. This year, they're going to see something different again this year, bigger and better.
Okay, Bob, I have a small gift for you. I know it's your birthday. Who's winning the 212 Mr. Olympia, Kamal or Shawn Clarida?
Yeah, well, this one's going to have to play out on stage because they've both beaten each other, and they've both been prior 212 Olympia champions. So I'd love to say Kamal because he's sitting here and he's my buddy, but he's got a fight in his hands. But you know what? He's got experience, and experience tells a whole lot. If Shawn Clarida makes the mistake of coming in, and I hate to say this because being the smallest guy out there, he's proven himself to be the best. That would be his only downfall. He's got to bring exactly what Shawn said earlier. He's got to bring with him what he brought initially to win that title. By the same token, Kamal's got to do the same thing. Both these guys are going to be probably the two most ripped guys and in condition in the entire show. And I'm really looking forward to this one. But before we depart, I've got an even Baker's dozen now into our top 5 because nobody has even mentioned the name of Hadi Chupan, who's also a perennial top guy. So now we got 12 guys in the top 5, bro.
Crazy.
Yes,
crazy.
Absolutely. Shawn Ray, I'm resenting you because you just came back from Hawaii, and actually congratulations. The Shawn Ray Classic in Hawaii continues to grow, be one of the best shows in the nation. Congratulations. But I'm resenting you. You look younger than all of us. Who's winning? Shawn Clarida or Kamal or anybody else? Who's winning the 212? You know that category better than anybody.
Yeah, and again, like Bob said, if Shawn tries to get a little too big or get too cute, Kamal can walk up there and take the title back. But I've been a Giant Killer fan for a very long time. Danny the Pest has to ruin this. I'm a Shawn Clarida fan. We both represent Mutant as the nation. So you're up against the big fight on your hands there. But I'm cheering for both these guys because I like them. And at the end of the day, I'm a fan first. I became a competitor later. And so I'm looking forward to getting on the ground. And if nobody makes it, you got to check out the pay-per-view at olympiaproductions.com. Got some great commentators coming this year. This 212 battle is going to be the highlight of Friday night and just sets the stage for Saturday. And by the way, a Brazilian won the bikini show at my competition. I think 2 of them. We had the wellness bikini champion, Lucia, and we had our Lucia won the bikini, and Michelle Ibata, she won the wellness.
Yes.
Brazil is kicking some major butt, and I'm looking forward to seeing that. I mean, look, you're representing Libya and England, and Bob, I don't know where you're representing, but we'll be there to blow out the candles for you in December.
Well, we'll be representing the entire sport, bro. That's why I'm the voice of bodybuilding, right?
Absolutely. The voice of bodybuilding, 2000 Mr. USA's. He is one of the icons. Everybody in the world just waits for that voice. I know everywhere I go, people are like, well, can Bob say happy birthday to me? I'm like, no, I'm not going to call Bob to say happy birthday to you right now. Also,
thank you.
Sugar Shawn Ray. He is, along with Lee Haney, the greatest national champion, Hall of Famer, Arnold Classic champion, Ironman champion. And with us, the most respected bodybuilder right now is Kamal Elgargni. He's going to be on stage. Samson Dauda, who many believe is the best competitor coming out of the UK. He just told Nathan Diasha he's going to give him a promo code to watch the pay-per-view. And Rafael Brandão, who is the hope of all Brazilians. My name is Terrick Guindy. Like Shawn Ray said, you need to get the pay-per-view right now. Right now is www.olympiaproductions.com. If you don't get it, you're going to have a miserable life. My name is Terrick Guindy, and we'll see you next time.
Ladies and gentlemen,